What's going on, people? This is Shok, and it's gonna be one of those videos where a lot of you guys out there with actual common sense would be surprised that something like this actually has to even be pointed out, right? It actually has to be said when it really shouldn't. But apparently, a lot of gamers these days, not just Nintendo fans, of course. Nintendo fans are the main ones right now. They're the biggest example. But I've seen it, a little bit everywhere. But a lot of gamers these days have forgotten who exactly the hell we are and what is the correct relationship between a company and a consumer. But as you can see in the title, the first thing I want to talk about is hype and conferences, particularly E3. Just gonna be real quick. This video might not be too long, I'm not sure, but then again, I always say that it ends up being like 10 minutes plus. So anyways, but one of the main things I've been seeing this week from a lot of Nintendo guys who, and they're a minority, they are definitely a minority now, hands down. But a lot of these Nintendo guys who are pretty much the same guys who never, ever, ever, under no circumstances, can position their lips to speak out against it. They physically can't do it. There's a physical limitation on their tongue to where they cannot talk bad about Nintendo. These guys have pretty much been saying that, as usual, you guys are just getting too hyped. You guys need to stop having expectations. Stop being crybabies because they didn't get you what you want. I don't see how you guys can say these words and not catch the idiocy behind them. You see what I'm saying? I don't understand. I don't know if you guys forgot, but this is E3. This is E3. E3 has always been about the hype. It's always been about the megatons. It's always been about the big reveals. It's always freaking been. Now, you guys are the same guys where every direct you say, it's just a direct. Lower your expectations, which you guys have more of a point there because, a direct is random. We don't know what we're going to get, right? Although you guys say that about every single one, so you're still bullcrapping because, you got to at least let people get hyped for one or two a year, outside of 3-1. You see what I mean? So, you're still bullshitting in this because you say it about every single one. So you're just saying we should never have expectations. That's not true. But if you just say it about, every now and then, every direct, every other one, like, oh, don't get too hyped, okay. But when it comes to E3, that logic makes no sense. We should be able to get hyped as hell for E3. Because it's E3. It's Christmas for gamers. When you were a kid, you got hyped for every Christmas. You knew, your family's going to be together, and you knew that you're going to get presents, and there's going to be, they're going to be on the tree and everything. You got hyped as fuck, didn't you? Okay, it's the same thing with gaming and E3. I can't believe we live in a day and age where gamers are saying that we should no longer be getting hyped for E3. E3. You guys are so bent on defending and damage controlling that listen to my words. Listen to what I'm actually saying. Listen to what you're doing. You are so bent, so set on defending Nintendo that you are saying that we shouldn't be getting hyped for E3. That we shouldn't have expectations for E3. 5 years ago, I would have never thought I would hear that sentence out of anyone's mouth. I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this video would have never thought that you would actually hear somebody say that sentence and actually mean it. But it's happened. Now all of a sudden, we shouldn't have expectations during E3. We shouldn't get hyped for E3. And also, we shouldn't be mad that we're not getting what we want, which goes into the main, the main course of this video, which is the second part, the relationship between consumers and companies. Let me ask you guys a question, right? When you go to a restaurant, do you just sit down, hand the waiter or waitress money, and then they just bring you back whatever they choose? Does the restaurant itself determine what you eat? Or when you go to a hotel, right? Let's say you go to a hotel and you pay for a room. Do you not expect a TV in that room? Do you not expect towels in that room? When you guys go, I don't know, let's say you go to the movies. Do you hand them money and they give you a ticket for whatever movie they feel like giving you a ticket to? No, that's not how the relationship between companies and consumers works, people. I've talked about this a little bit before, but I decided to go ahead and do a video dedicated to this, right? We pretty much, it's a favorite line amongst the Nintendo, the very extra defensive, can't move their lips or tongue to speak out against them. Nintendo fans, right? Been saying for the longest, you guys are so entitled. Entitled bitches. You guys expect everything you think a company's supposed to do what you want. Yes, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. I don't know when you guys forgot this. I don't know when you guys stopped having respect for yourselves as gamers. But that's how it's supposed to be. So you guys have gotten so caught up. And it's really a mental thing. And I think it kind of ties into some of your guys' real lives, right? Some of you guys have this mental thing where you rely on defending a company, right? You have to. Because it completes a part of you that would otherwise be a gap if you didn't do it right. You have to, and you cannot help yourselves. And it's really a mental issue. But you guys need to remember to a time, if it ever existed, to where you weren't like this. To where you actually wanted better for yourself as a gamer. Where you actually had standards. Where you actually understood that they are supposed to be catering to us. Not the other way around. A popular line I've been seeing this whole week ever since E3 is be thankful for what you get. Be thankful for what's there. We shouldn't have to come to the point where we have to sit there and think, let's just be thankful. We're supposed to be getting pampered. We're supposed to be catered to. The same way when you go to a hotel and you pay money, you expect to be catered. You expect to have room service there whenever you call them up. Hey, I need more towels. They bring the towels. You go into your room, you expect the essentials there. You expect the restroom. You expect the soap. You expect the, a refrigerator and a microwave if it's, a certain level of hotel. If it's 3-star or above, it should have those things or whatever, right? But a lot of gamers have gotten to the point where they have no regard for themselves anymore. They have no regard for themselves, for their well-being as gamers. All they care about the company. And the company being defended and the company being presented in a positive light, more about their own gaming experiences. And that's what it's come to. We give them money. We've been keeping Nintendo alive. I don't know if you guys have realized this, but companies who make products rely on the consumers for their well-being. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's kind of how, consumerism works. That's kind of how having a company, and that's kind of how being on a market in the industry works. You make a product, and how much money you make, and your well-being, and how long you live, depends on the people who buy it. So basically, Nintendo fans, guys, Nintendo is at the mercy of us. It should not be the other way around. We should not be at the mercy of them. You guys completely have things flipped. You got it twisted. You have it absolutely twisted. You do. When did you guys forget these basic, essential things? When? When did you? If you pay bills, right? don't you expect whatever, company you're paying the bills, don't you expect them to keep their services on? If I pay my electric bill and for the day after I pay it, it's on, but then the day after that, it gets shut off when I had just paid the bill 2 days ago, right? Now, am I going to sit here and say, oh, well, I should just be thankful that it was on yesterday and just patiently wait for it to come on? No, it shouldn't happen, right? It's bull, because I paid them. Therefore, I expect something in return. That's how it works. All this stuff is really no different from this whole console market, from this whole console business. It's the same thing. When I bought a Wii U, I rented a room at a hotel. But I don't have towels. I'm pointing up there because that's my Wii U is. I don't have towels. I don't have soap. I don't have the cups. I don't have a TV. All I have is a bed, and that's it. And a lot of these Nintendo guys, another thing I've seen them saying is, as long as it can play games, it's doing its job. No. We are beyond the point, and that kind of ties in with the debate I was having just 2 days ago about how standards. A lot of Nintendo fans pretend standards do not exist, right? They pretend standards don't exist. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say I don't understand what you guys are saying. I understand what you guys are saying with this particular argument when you're saying a gaming console is supposed to play games, and that's it. I understand what you guys are saying. At the base level, essentially, yes, a gaming console is supposed to play games. That's how it was back in the day, right? We are no longer back in the day. It goes beyond just playing games. I'm not even talking about, oh, I want my Wii U to play movies and all like that, whatever, right? Because all this time I've been talking about how the Wii U lacks this feature and that feature. A lot of these features I've been talking about are gaming related, right? It's supplementary to my gaming experience. Cross game chat, you guys act like it's something that is a cherry on top and is completely unrelated to your gaming experience. That is not true. Cross game chat can improve your gaming experience. On-screen notifications improve your gaming experience because it could determine how quickly you get matched up with your friends, how quickly you see your friend's message, and how quickly you guys are able to jump into a lobby together, whatever game you're trying to play. You see what I'm saying? Let me use a different example though. The Wii U is a car, right? You guys talk about, oh, it plays games and that's all that matters. It really shouldn't need anything else because it's a gaming system. The Wii U is a car. I dropped $300 on this car. It drives. Yeah, it drives. It gets me to point A to point B, but it has no air conditioning. It has no windshield wipers or windshield wiper fluid in it. So if it's raining hard, I can't even see. I can't even drive if it's raining hard. If it's too hot, I really can't get out and drive because it's Texas in the summertime. It's hot as hell. Even if you're driving down with your windows down, it doesn't matter. You're going to be hot, right? That's how Texas is. It does have a trunk, right? It's a 4-car door, but it doesn't have a trunk, aka a hard drive. Do you see what I'm saying? Standards, they exist, and they are not an opinionated matter. I'm sorry, it's not. Like the debate I had with Shadow Fox, that's pretty much what he was saying. He was saying that there's no factual standard you can list. There's no factual standard you can say. No, there is no one thing that determines what a standard is, whatever, all that crap. Not true. Not true. It's a perfect one-to-one example. You guys are saying a gaming system is fine as long as it can play games. No. Back in the day when that's all they did, really? Yeah, sure. But not this day and age. The 7th gen destroyed that. Now we expect more because Sony and Microsoft, and to a certain extent Nintendo themselves, because the Wii had, photos and music and videos, with the photo channel. The Wii had a party system, right? The DSi had some kind of, customization on the home screen, stuff like that. The 3DS has it now, so it's not even just, Sony and Microsoft. It's like I've been saying this whole time. A lot of the stuff we've been asking for the Wii U is stuff that Nintendo has actually done before, right? All we want is we want it to return, and we want it to return more fully fledged, and that's it. So it's not just Sony and Microsoft, it's Nintendo themselves as well. So, the whole thing of just, oh, it just plays games, that guy ended in the 7th gen. Gaming evolved. See, you guys need to understand that evolution is real. And I'm not talking about, in real life, because, I'm sure people have their different beliefs, regarding evolution, whatever, stuff like that. I'm talking about when it comes to an entertainment industry, especially something as this, it evolves. And with evolution comes new standards. I do not see how you guys don't understand that. How do you not understand that? So again, if you buy a brand new car and it doesn't have those things I listed, if it doesn't have windshield wipers and it doesn't have a trunk and it's a normal 4-door car or whatever, and it doesn't have air conditioning, it doesn't have a radio, it doesn't have a CD player, it doesn't have any cigarette lighters or anything like that for you to charge your phone, would you be happy with that? If it's a new car, a 2015 car, and it didn't have any of those things. Or let's say you couldn't roll your windows down. Of course, you would not be happy with that. Of course, you would not be satisfied with that. Why? Because you understand and recognize that those things are standard in modern cars. So why all of a sudden does that logic get thrown out the window when it comes to a video game system? It's the same goddamn thing, people. It's a product that you spend money on. A modern product that you spend money on. Therefore, you expect certain things to come along with that product. But this whole time, I've kind of more been talking about, just features, and stuff like that, and standards. But it also goes into the games as well, because you guys are just saying, like, games are games, be happy, right? You got Metroid Federation Force, and you got, Mario Baseball, and Zelda Totem Poles, Fuck Nigga Edition, and, you got Animal Crossing, Fuck Nigga Edition, right? So be happy. No. See, there's nothing, let me say something. There's nothing wrong with spin-off games. There's nothing wrong with them. It's just that you don't give an influx of those when we haven't been given the meat yet. You see what I'm saying? You don't do that. You do not do that. You don't keep on giving us the small things, the small things, small things, small things, small things, small thing. We've gotten none of the juicy stuff yet. A lot of these guys defending, Federation Force. And by the way, I don't agree with the petition being made. Yes, I signed the petition, but, I only signed it because I know there's no way in hell the petition would actually get the game canceled, so it was harmless. If anything, it's actually a good thing that the petition was made, because it will serve to further show Nintendo that we don't approve of it. But it's not actually going to get it canceled. But for anybody who actually signed the petition with, the hope and intention that it's going to get it canceled, that's ridiculous. There's people out there who actually want to play it, and you shouldn't want a game canceled based off of that alone. But anyways, like I was saying, what was I saying? Galactic Federation Force and, the Animal Crossing stuff. Oh yeah. I was saying how you don't keep giving us these fuck shit titles when we haven't gotten to the main course yet. You see what I'm saying? You don't do that. A lot of these guys defending, that's what I was on. A lot of these guys defending Federation Force was like, oh, how come you guys never complain about Metroid Pinball? That's because the year before Metroid Pinball, we got Metroid Prime 2. So we didn't care if we got a spin-off. Do you see what I'm saying? We didn't care because we had just gotten served. You see what I mean? Now, Galactic Federation Force, we have not gotten a single Metroid on either console this gen. So you don't start off with that. You see what I'm saying? You don't do that. You do not do that. We don't have an Animal Crossing Wii U. So that's not the first Animal Crossing thing that you give us on the system. Right? You do not do that. These distractor titles, as I like to call them, there's a place for them. There's, fundamentally, morally speaking, no problem with them. But it's like when that's all Nintendo seems to want to make, that's when it becomes a problem. When the ratio between these smaller titles and these more beefier titles is like completely skewed, 90 to 10, that is a problem. That is a huge freaking problem. And I'm not saying, and I know a lot of you guys are going to be thinking right now, oh, You want these big hitters just year round, all the time. You know, you want the Metroid and the F-Zero and the Star Fox just every freaking month, all the time. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it has to be those big, huge AAA budgeted titles and stuff like that. Games like Hyrule Warriors will suffice as well. Because, you know, Hyrule Warriors is a smaller, you know, game, right? But it's not smaller on the level of Rusty's Baseball and Zelda Totem Poles, Human Totem Poles, and Mario Baseball, right? It's a bit more beefier. You see what I mean? And to a certain extent, I would even say Captain Toad is the same way. Because it has, you know, high production values, and it has a breadth of content. So many levels, right? Stuff like that. So I'm including games like, you know, Hyrule Warriors and, you know, Captain Toad. Although I think it's, you know, a fuck shit game personally. But it's still, you know, definitely above the other stuff that Nintendo has showed at this, you know, digital event, right? I'm counting that stuff too. That's stuff that you need to put out before you focus too much on all this other crap. So it's basically all about balance. When you show Star Fox, and then that's it, as far as, you know, new titles goes, and the rest you show is like little fuck shit, distractor games, right? That's a problem. You need to have a certain ratio. You need to have a certain balance. But anyway, it's kind of more back to the central topic of this video, right? We've given them money all these years. When you put money into a company, you expect them to give you that money back in ways that actually matter, in significant ways. If you guys saw the video that I did with Nia on her channel, right? The word I used to describe the new games that Nintendo showed at the digital event was uncompelling. They were not compelling, and that's pretty much the main word that, you know, describes these games perfectly. And it's the main word you guys should always keep. For every game you see, you should ask yourself, okay, is this actually compelling? Because Nintendo, every game you make, you should ask, first off, is it needed? Secondly, have people asked for this? And thirdly, is this compelling? Those are 3 questions you should ask yourself before you decide to make a game. And sure, you could say it comes down to a matter of opinion, yeah. I'm sure a lot of you guys do find Mario Baseball compelling, whatever. But for the majority of us, those games you showed were not any of those 3. We didn't ask for them, they weren't needed, and nor were they compelling. So why are we getting them before Metroid Wii U? Why are we getting them before an F-Zero Wii U? Why are we getting them before anything, right? No new game announcements that were actual, like, significant, compelling titles, right? And a lot of actual compelling titles, such as Devil's Third, such as Fatal Frame, were nowhere to even be found in the digital event. But that's kind of a different story. But you guys get the point. I've dragged this video on, you know, long enough. Like I said, I just don't understand how you guys are so willing to sacrifice your own well-being as a gamer just to defend a company, just to make sure that their image isn't looking bad. Think about yourselves. When it comes to other you versus other gamers, that's when you're not supposed to be selfish. But when it comes to you versus a company, that's when you are. That's when you are supposed to be selfish. That's when you're supposed to expect things for yourselves. That's when you're supposed to hold them to an expectation. Hold them to a standard. That's when you're supposed to do all that. And I can't believe we got into a day and age where some of us out there have forgotten about that. Some of us have gotten to the point where we got so used to damage controlling to where our minds are completely gone and consumed by these companies. So bad to the point where we're saying that we shouldn't even expect hype things at E3. 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 I want you guys to go back and watch old E3 videos. I want you guys to go back and watch Nintendo's 2010. I want you to go do that. Then I want you guys to come back to 2015 and compare. Go back to the E3s of the old days, you know, the 90s, stuff like that, and come back. Because I want you guys to see and remember what it used to be, how good it used to be. But that's for this video, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all later.